Okay, so how important is it to link those principles together with the borders of Africa? And you can see in part 1 and part 2, I've addressed the ethnic diversity issue and the ethnic conflicts issue, and stressed that with the responsibility to protect concept is very important. So you have to hold the governments to be responsible for the delivery of provisions to different ethnic groups, and so boundaries, as opposed in the past as something fixed, as something that cannot be changed, it is now subjected to the good governance of the states. Now, this approach can hopefully, that I mentioned in part 2, can hopefully stimulate the governments to provide better or fair share of benefits and fair or equal approach in policing different ethnic groups. As opposed to the situation now where lots of governments they do not address the different ethnic groups equally and fairly, and they manipulate the differences of ethnic groups, and some of them especially they like using the war and conflicts between ethnic groups to create or sustain themselves on a war economy. Now, if we hold those governments responsible for the delivery of provisions to the people, and that the boundaries are not fixed to the territorial bounding like set in more than a century ago by the Western colonizers, then we can make those governments to hopefully abandon those bad governing practices. The meaning and the importance of this, as I express in my paper, is that finally we are not handing over the power of deciding how to decide on the boundaries or how to govern the peoples by the people, politicians, or militants in control. We are handing it based on some established principle to a common community like African Union as a whole, so they can, as a community joined by different states as a whole, to monitor each other, to have the scrutiny of each other, how other states are performing, and together they can take concerted action upon the states that are failing in governing different ethnic groups together efficiently. It is also very important because in the past, rather ad hoc measures were taken in order to solve those ethnic disputes and those boundaries establishments. It is good to have a systematic approach to state very clearly who is responsible and what is the means we can rely on to enforce those problems behind to be tackled. And this approach is based on the Locke ideology, that is to have a civic society your people are making contracts with the government, so the governments are subjected to some limitations. In order for these governments to work, that it is given the power to govern the people, it is necessarily responsible for certain fulfillments subjected to contract. So the governments should not just do anything that it wants. It's time for us to take part in each individual's rights and the betterment of individuals in the first place as our prime concern. Therefore, we shouldn't just hand over the power and just let whatsoever governments do to the people. Sovereignty and boundaries being part of it should not be subjected to just a few who say they have the sovereignty to rule the state, but it should be subjected to the betterment of individuals, whether they are being taken care of properly. Now, I don't know if I made my points across efficiently enough, but that's the best I can try in this video. That pretty much summarized all my points in the paper. Again, I'm no expert on this topic. Just additional information. There are states, especially the failing states, the dysfunctioning states. Many of them, the ruling party, so-called, they are just controlling not many areas further, from the capital. Loads of fiber groups in the hinterlands. So, because of their vastness, how big the country is, so there are continuous wars between rival groups in the hinterland and the party ruling the capital. So some countries claiming that they have the sovereignty to rule the state, that actually do not even control the whole territory of the states that they claim to be in control of. And so therefore it is a very important decision to have how you define sovereignty. Sovereignty, should it be just given to a party that it claims it has the sovereignty, or you have to have a set of principles in mind? Like, how do you say a country has its sovereignty? And that's the philosophy or the ideology of this paper. And your comments are mostly welcome, and I'm interested in doing this paper, but obviously I need to learn so much more. So as a conclusion, I'm going to study in focus of African politics or other kind of developments in the next half of the year in Europe. Previously I've got not so much as a systematic study of Africa, so I look forward to next year's study, and that's about it. Sorry, I explain in the next video what happened, but that's all. 3 parts of videos to explain my paper. So glad it is done.